Everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to do Firebase email password authentication in Godot Game Engine for Android. So firstly I'll show you guys the output. So here is I have enabled the Google email and password authentication, and I had this one user and I have 3 buttons, and for now I have just hard coded this email as well as password, but if you want you can add some text input inside your Godot view as well. Just for simplicity I have hard coded it, and once I click on the sign up button, user of that email and password should be present inside our Firebase console. So here you can see that I was able to successfully sign up and log out, and if I refresh my Firebase console I can see that particular user, and if I click on login button now I can see this particular user as well. Now suppose if I have logged in, okay, and if I completely remove the app and reopen it, that state of that particular user is maintained, so we don't have to do any kind of session management or store that particular user inside our internal like local storage or SQLite. We don't have to do that. That is already done by Firebase. So if you want you can add a check inside your onReady function that okay, if the user is already present, redirect to some other screen, don't display the login screen. So you can write that logic, but I'll show you where exactly you will have to add that check and everything. So yeah, let's get started. Also need to enable authentication inside Firebase console as well. So what you will have to do is you will have to go to the build method, click on authentication. You won't see this users tab, you might see something like this. So you will have to click on email/password. Once you click on it, you will just have to enable this email/password checkbox. Don't worry about this email link, we'll look into this in some other video. Okay, so make sure you check this checkbox. So firstly you will have to create a Firebase project. Also make sure you create a Godot project as well, and for first what you have to do is you will have to inside your Godot project click on project, install Android build template. I have already done that. Next you will have to go to project, export, click add Android, and inside Android you will have to add some package name because this is necessary while you are adding your Android app to Firebase. Now once you add the package name, whatever is your unique name for package, you will have to create a Firebase project first. Okay, then you will have to click on add app Android, and here you will have to copy paste that package name which you have just created over here. So you can just copy paste it over here. I might get an error, okay, because I have already registered this package, so I'll name it something different. You can give some nickname, click register app. You don't need SHA-1 for email password authentication for Firebase. Then you will have to download this Google services.json file. So I'll quickly open that file as well. Okay, we don't need to drag and drop this file anywhere yet because given that we are creating a plugin, this dragging and dropping of Google services.json file inside our Android plugin or Android project won't work. So I will show you some alternative. Then click on next. Okay, next what you will have to do is just create an Android project for now. Okay, it can be an empty views project or Jetpack Compose project using Android Studio. Then you will have to go to this Android drop down, then right click new not kotlin file module, right click new module Android library, and here you can name it whatever you like. I have named it as my library. You can change the package name to whatever you feel like, and then click on finish. I have already created this, so here you can see. Next you will have to go to this build.gradle.kts of your Android project, and here you see they tell us to add this bit of line, so I have added it over here. Okay, next you have to go to build.gradle.kts of your library, and firstly they tell us that you need to add this id. This is already present. Okay, so if you see over here, this alias Android library is equivalent to this com.android.apply, so don't worry about this. You just have to copy this com.google.gms.google services. So I've already copy paste that as well. Next you will have to copy paste this BOM, which is a bill of materials. So I have copy pasted it, and it might look a little different to you because I am using Android Studio Iguana. So you just copy paste this part, and what you have to do is you will have to go to libs.versions.toml, and here you will have to add this Firebase BOM. So whatever is the current version, so 32.8.0 at the time of recording, so whatever is your current version, write it over here. And you will also have to write this bit of line over here, Firebase BOM equal to all this stuff. Next, we also need to integrate this Firebase auth library. We don't need to give it any version inside build.gradle because we are using this BOM platform library. It internally handles that for us, so we don't have to worry about it. And we also need to import the Godot library for Android. So I have imported this something like this, and the version is over here. So it is over here. So at the time of this recording, I'm using Godot 4.2.1 stable, but if you have some higher version, use that. And you can find this version on Maven Central as well. And here you will have to write something like this. Once you do that, you might see a sync now button at the top. Just click on that sync now button. Once that is done, let's see what's the next step. So just click on next, click on continue to console. Next, you will have to open your library, and here in Kotlin plus Java you will have to create a file called Godot Android plugin. It extends from Godot plugin. Then you will have to override this method and give your plugin some name. It can be any name. I have just given it as my plugin, but do remember this name because we will be using this in lot other places as well. Then I have created one variable for Firebase auth. Now we need to initialize our Firebase app as well. So that's why I have told you to keep this Google services.json file handy. So first you can just copy paste this code. Here we are initializing our Firebase auth as well. Now this all stuff will change according to your Google services.json. So for application ID, you can just go to Google services.json and copy this. Okay, so this is your application ID. Okay, next is API key. So here is the API key. You can just copy paste it and paste it over here. And last is I think project ID. Yeah, project ID. You can just copy paste it from over here. Okay, so copy paste your own stuff. Don't try to copy it from the video, it won't work for you. Then you have to override another method called get plugin signal, and here we are just registering our signal. So it is basically used to send some data from native Android side to the Godot side. And here I have created one method called get user. Now if you remember, I was telling you we don't have to do a state management once the user has signed up or login. So for that you can use this method. So you can call this method inside the onReady function of your Godot script, GD script. And if this user is not equal to empty, you can redirect to some other screen. If it is equal to empty, then just stay on that login screen. Okay, so for that I have created this method. For sign up, we just have to call auth.create user with email password. Pass your email and password, and you get a complete listener. If task dot is successful and user not equal to null, I'm just sending the user's email back to the Godot side. There are other properties of user as well, so which you can do an R&D by yourself. Otherwise I'm just displaying a toast message in case anything goes wrong. Similarly for login as well, we just have to change the method name to sign in with email and password. Everything else remains same as that as compared to sign up. And for sign out, you just have to call auth.sign out, and I'm just emitting a signal. Okay, the user has signed out. Okay, next you will have to go to android manifest.xml, and here I have just copy pasted everything from the Godot docs. The only thing which you have to change is this should be your package name. So in case you forgot, this is your package name which you can, and this should be your plugin name. In case you forgot, this is your plugin name. Okay, next you will have to go to the project drop down, and inside your library you will have to create a folder called export scripts template. Inside that, first create a file called plugin.cfg. Again I have copy pasted it from docs. Only thing which will change is this plugin name. This should be whatever you have given. Description, author, change whatever you feel like. Export underscore plugin.gd. Again I have copy pasted this from docs. Everything will remain same. Only things which will change is, first is this should be your plugin name. And second is you will need to add this extra bit of method for getting Android dependency, because we are adding this Firebase bomb and Firebase auth as well. Now for Firebase bomb, you know that we added 32.8.0, right? So you can add that. But if you remember, inside build.gradle.kts we didn't add any version for Firebase auth because that was managed internally. But inside export plugin.gd you have to provide a version number. So to get the, and you can't just add any version number for Firebase auth. You have to add the corresponding whatever platform version you are using. You have to add corresponding Firebase auth version. So to do that, you can go to this link over here, release notes, and here you can see that for latest version of 32.8.0 the Firebase authentication version is 22.3.1. suppose if you are using some older version, you can use this compare thing as well, and click on compare, and it will give you whatever was the corresponding version. Okay, once this is done, you will have to open your terminal, cd to your main Android project. So go to your Android project, not to your Android library, and then you will have to run this command. Okay, so once you run this gradle /gradle w assemble, you can go to your Android project, app, build, outputs. Oh, not sorry. You will have to go to your library, build, outputs, AAR, and here you should see 2 AAR file being generated. I have already cut pasted those files inside my Godot project, that's why you are not seeing it over here. Next, you will have to create your Godot project, and firstly, in case if you haven't already done, click install Android build template, then click on export, add Android. Apart from changing the package name, you will also have to check this checkbox depending on what Android version architecture your Android phone is using. If you don't know, select all 4 of this, and inside use Gradle build, just check this checkbox as well, then click close. Then you will have to create a folder called add-ons. Inside that, create a folder with your plugin name. Then inside that, create a folder called bin, and inside bin create 2 folders, debug and release. Now the 2 AR files which you have, you will have to copy the debug AR file to the debug folder, release AR file to the release folder, but you will have to change the name a bit. So I'll just show you that as well. So here you can see the plugin name should be your plugin name -debug.ar. Similarly for release as well, your plugin name -release.ar. Once this is done, you have to copy this export plugin.gd and plugin.cfg file from your Android plugin to your Godot project. So I have already copy pasted these 2 files as well. Okay, so here you can see, then you will have to go to project settings, go to plugins, and make sure you check this checkbox as well. Once you do that, here inside VBox container I have just taken 3 buttons and 1 label, and I have attached 1 script to it. And if you see, firstly this should be your plugin name. Okay, and inside on ready I am just initializing our plugin as well as connecting our signal. And once we get a signal, this method gets called, where we are just updating our labels text. And here you can see I am calling this get user inside the ready function itself. So if you get this user email or whatever, you can perform relevant action in your app. And on first button press, I am just calling the sign up method. I am hard coded the email and password, but you can do it better than me. Similarly for login, and here I am just calling sign out as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.